What's good, everybody? I'm gonna try to get through all of these buffs and changes within about 10 minutes, so I might be rushing a little bit, but I've got some sick buffs for Lycanroc. I think people are gonna like this a lot. I mean, I know a lot of people like Lycanroc. They're pretty damn cool. All of them have very fitting dual typings. I think these are pretty obvious as to why I chose specific typings for specific ones. The stat distribution, pretty cool. I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, they still follow the same speed trends. Midday form being the fastest because the typing is quote unquote the worst, and it's not actually the worst at all. Offensively, it's a pretty good dual stab combo, and then of course that speed stat helps a lot, and I think it fits design-wise, especially because midday form used to have Sand Rush. But yeah, rock fighting, pretty cool for Dusk form. Only other one is Terrakion, who is slower, stronger, but actually with Reckless, Duskworm is stronger. Yes, Duskworm did lose Tough Claws, just for balancing reasons. It's a very boring ability in terms of the boost that it gives. Hustle and Ruthless are very balanced in terms of the downsides or limitations of them. Reckless is also very balanced in that it's a lower boost, but it's and it's only for specific moves. And I also think it fits Dusk form a lot better and makes it a lot more equal to the other three, especially because Rock Fighting is arguably the best dual stab combo out of these three. Not that that matters because, again, midday form is much faster and is much stronger with Hustle. Although, again, you're giving up that fighting type stab. So Hustle is buffed and changed in his hack. Also, by the way, I know I'm going super quick, and I would love to talk more in depth about these, and I'm gonna, but I want to get the important stuff out at the beginning. But I will say, check out that Google Sheet in the description. If you're listening this far into the video and you have yet to do so, you're a new viewer, please do give that a look. It's the same Google Sheet that I'm sharing right now, and I've buffed and changed 600 plus moves in this hack, and those are all listed in great detail in a lot of different useful categories for you to see. Super easy to navigate. That's all in the description down below. Please give that a look. Seriously, it's super important. But yeah, midday form rock normal, great dual stab. It's the only other rock normal type besides Furfrou. Pretty unique type combo. Oh my god, it's 4 times weak to fighting. It's terrible. It has a 4 times weakness. That's sarcasm. Doesn't really mean anything. It's not a big deal. You die to fighting hits regardless of if you're 2 times or 4 times weak when you have bulk like that. Although Intimidate does help a lot. All of them share the ability Intimidate. I think it's cool for them all to share one ability. And then they each have a different offensive ability they can switch between. In this ROM hack, every Pokemon is balanced to switch between its abilities depending on the situation. So every Pokemon almost has 2 abilities in that regard that they use, the actually useful abilities. Intimidate is very great. Even on midday form, who is the frailest of the 3, it's still useful to switch in. You have Intimidate plus Parting Shot, Intimidate plus Battle Cry, and that's really good just to neuter a lot of strong attackers that exist in this hack. Keep in mind that crit moves will bypass right through Intimidate, though. Speaking of, Midnight form has the ability Ruthless. The moves Wicked Blow and Stone Edge will always crit. Those are 90% accurate, which is the only real downside, which in a Nuzlocke is a pretty big downside, but very strong moves, very late game though. Stone Edge being a very late game TM, and then Wicked Blow being at level 58, which is after Aether Foundation, once you get the Pony Island, so that's a late game move. But before you get the guaranteed crit moves, you also have Storm Throw, which is the same, by the way, that's fighting type coverage. So those 3 moves are guaranteed crit, very strong. Other guaranteed crit moves you have are First Impression and Skull Bash and Finishing Blow. Those are all super sick. Finishing Skull Bash is really cool, especially on midday form with Hustle. Skull Bash does not miss with Hustle. Hustle alone with 120 base attack is incredibly powerful. Sorry, I'm jumping between the forms a bit, but I do want to cover Hustle relatively in depth. Extreme Speed, Accelerock, and Quick Attack will never miss with Hustle. Neither will U-Turn. So all of those moves are Hustle boosted and won't miss. Extreme Speed especially being extremely good on midday form. Skull Bash, very strong. That is 135 base power overall because it's 90 base power, but it always crits, so it's boosted by both Ruthless and Hustle. And of course, Stab on midday form as well. That won't miss. And Skull Bash gives you a flat +1 attack, accuracy, and defense boost. So you can use regular attacking moves after you click Skull Bash with Power Herb on midday form, and you have extremely powerful +1 attack, Hustle boosted, +1 accuracy boosted moves that you can spam on midday form. So that's awesome for midday form. Keep in mind that any fast, frail offensive attacker is definitely hurt by First Impression, so you can't really sweep as reliably anymore because of that alone, let alone all the other anti-setup things that I don't have time to talk about right now. But just know that you can't simply click Swords Dance or Skull Bash or Howl being the same as Swords Dance. Howl is basically Swords Dance and Nasty Plot in one move, which is situational because it's not reteachable like the others are, but it's good because Power Trip is boosted immensely by Howl. So Power Trip will instantly become 100 base power with Howl, and then Power Trip gives you an additional +1 attack boost in exchange for only having 3 PP. So that's a very cool option, especially on midnight form. Although midday form can't miss with Power Trip either, so that's a good option there as well. Last Resort also cannot miss on Hustle on midday form. So those are all really fun. Wide lens is also buffed. It gives you a 15% accuracy boost. By the way, like it says on the Google Sheet right here, it says click to see this effect or click to see all these moves. That's not, I didn't take the time to do that just to cover them all in the videos. You can just go to the Google Sheet and click them, and it'll literally show you all of the moves that you have access to that are affected by this ability or whatever it is. So please, I'm probably missing a few. Just give it a look on there. It's a lot easier than me explaining it. I'll wrap it up there for Hustle, but just know that midday form is the strongest. Until midnight form gets the crit moves, then they're equal. And then dusk form has high base power moves. I mean, Submission and Head Smash are 150 base power moves, and Headlong Rush, those are all 150 base power recoil moves that do, they're basically like close combat, so they lower your defenses, and they give 30% recoil. Keep in mind that Shell Bell is buffed to heal you by 20% in this hack. Again, there's Howled and buffs. You can check those out in the description below as well on the Google Sheet. But Shell Bell will heal you by 20%, so moves like Play Rough, Wild Charge, Rock Climb, and Takedown, Takedown being Stab and Rock Climb being Stab on Dusk form, are all 110 base power recoil moves that deal 20% recoil. So slap a Shell Bell on and you take 0% recoil from those moves. Very, very good for Dusk form. He can spam Dual Stab and then Wild Charge and Play Rough for coverage. And then he also has Double Edge at 35, which is very early because it's only a normal type move. Non-stab, not the best, but it's strong for that point in the game on Reckless Dusk form. Excuse me. And then, of course, late game, you get the really strong ones in Headlong Rush, Submission, and Head Smash, although you will be taking 10% neck recoil with Shell Bell when you use those moves. And don't sleep on Intimidate, by the way. I don't want to undersell how useful it is. Like, even late game, once you get all these powerful moves, you'll still be using Intimidate for a good amount of boss fights, especially with Battle Cry and Parting Shot, because defensive utility is really important in this hack. Other things with Hustle I didn't mention yet. Actually, no, I'll talk about Ruthless a little bit more. So First Impression will always crit, Skull Bash will always crit, and then you have a bunch of moves that are 50% crit rate moves as well. So obviously late game you have those very strong guaranteed ones. But earlier in the game you have Jagged Edge and Night Slash, which are similar to Wicked Blow and Stone Edge, but again, those are 50% crits. So you slap on a Scope Lens on your Midnight form, Lycanroc, which is much more balanced earlier in the game. With 97 base speed, you're pretty quick, and then you are very strong with 120 base attack. Those moves go from 70 base power to 158 base power with Ruthless on a crit. So you use Scope Lens to guarantee that critical hit, and now you're big chillin' with Jagged Edge, Night Slash for Dual Stab, and Steel Fighting and Bug Coverage in Laceration, Cross Chop, and X Scissor. Those are really cool. You also learn Set Amend just in time for Olivia. Intimidate is probably going to be your preferred ability on all three for Olivia. Hence why I said you're going to want to switch between your abilities for specific fights. Dusk form actually even resists Rock, which is pretty cool. Because you might argue that Dusk form is like he doesn't get his boosted moves until like the mid 40s, because the mid 40s is when you get access to Play Rough, Wild Charge, Rock Climb, and Takedown. So he does quote unquote suffer until then, but it's not like, I mean, the dual stab combo is good enough to carry him until he gets the recoil moves, and he's still really fast, although he's not as fast as midday form. Again, like I said earlier, I made midday form the fastest because it does have the quote unquote worst dual stab combo of the three, and I'm using that loosely because Rock Normal is pretty damn great. Yeah, and again, of course, you can pick between the forms. Also, Splintered Storm Shards is 190 base power, but it always crits, so that is effectively, what, 190? That is like it's good. It's strong as fuck, but it's probably overkill. You'd really only want it, like, for example, on midday form, it's 285 base power. So midday form, Z moves don't miss with Hustle, and then with midnight form, it's also boosted by 50% because of Ruthless. So midday and midnight form get 50% boosts on top of that 285 base power. It's really fucking strong. It's an absolute nuke. But that's honestly overkill in game. This isn't competitive where you need to, blow up a resist that's going to come in and check your Lycanroc. This is in game where you're clicking the button to hit whatever's in front of you best. So, because you don't have to worry about the AI switching out unless they use switch moves. So, overkill as fuck, but fun to use. And you could use it to blow up resist in this game, if you have Stone Edge. The base move is Stone Edge, so you won't have that TM until very late into the game, which is why this is balanced. It's just a cool little nuke move for late game. You could use it for a totem, for example, or, just for a specific fight to maybe this sweep is stopped by this specific Pokemon living your Stone Edge, then you don't have enough move slots or coverage. I don't know. It's situational. Like I said, it's overkill, but it's fun. So that's a cool little option for late game as well. I think I heard about everything. Hopefully I did a good job of keeping this one concise. I technically could talk about more stuff here, but I'm really just going to leave it up to you. Please do check out that Google Sheet in the description. Check out all the move busting changes. There's so many of them. I organize them by type and all this other stuff, but I should probably save my breath because anybody listening this far into the video definitely knows that already. And if you don't, then let me know down below in the comments what you think. Leave a comment. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff. I really do appreciate it, everybody. Last thing I will say is that midnight form, you might look at it and be like, well, it's the worst because it's the slowest and it has a lot of weaknesses. First of all, Intimidate helps with that a lot. Again, it's in game, you don't need to check every single thing. If there's something that you're weak to, just switch out, parting shot out with Intimidate or whatever you want to do. Not to mention, that speed set is not bad. You still have priority in the form of Accelerock and Sucker Punch, which is actually Stab on Midnight form, which is pretty cool. And then you're the bulkiest of the three as well, so you can actually take a lot of hits with Intimidate. You have useful resistances. I know that Rock Dark is infamous for having a lot of weaknesses, but despite those, you also have useful resistances that you can take advantage of, you know, like Dark and Poison and a couple others. So I'm going to leave the video off there because the video is looping. That's my time to end it off. Thank you so much, everybody. And I'll be back for more Alola buffs and changes coming up. Peace. If you have any questions, by the way, I'd love to go more in depth. If you want to ask me a question in the comments, I'll be happy to answer.